Lights, camera, action. Well, greetings and welcome to Ego New Voices Amplified. My name is Plot Marco, and welcome to the program that gives you a connection to creatives. And today I'll be speaking to an amazing filmmaker. She's a great friend of mine, and I call her Siza Mukwedini. That's what most people actually call her. Siza Mukwedini, thank you so much and welcome to Ego. I don't know why I don't hear you.
How are you?
I'm good. The audio is delayed, but I can hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's good now.
Okay.
Let me take you back to your childhood. Before Siza became a filmmaker and a producer, what fed into that imagination?
Yeah.
Did you see yourself getting into film one day?
Well, I can say I've always had an interesting imagination from childhood. I guess you could say it was the ability to see things that most people don't see or see things differently. And I really liked my cartoon. I loved my cartoon. Like you'd find me there. Okay, and then not so much of a board that I could make or anything. As long as there was my cartoon or a good book to read, that was me. I think my teacher in grade 5 actually saw the interest and started giving me a book each week. And then I would come back with a written summary of what the story in the book was that you'd have given me. That I think started shaping my making of stories or my being able to, because film, I believe for me it is a tool then that we then use to actually then express the stories that are within us. So you have to be interested in story first. That is where I got to be, it was all about the story, So even when I went outside to with my friends, it would always be a story. I would always be coming back to narrate a story that, this is what happened, and this is what I experienced, this is what I saw. It always had to be exciting. To the point that I remember when I was in Form 1, I wrote an essay that then went on to be read in front of the whole school. Because, it was like really, I think my teacher was like, the way I write is like, it can't be that, you're out doing this and all of your writing. I was like, oh wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And she did tell me that I was going to travel. That was Mrs. Lansford. So shout out to Mrs. Lansford. Yeah. So then I became more interested in film, in wanting to know more how to make my own cartoons. How do I also make my own films? So that to just see what other young people my age were doing. So when I was 18, I think I got introduced to there was no film school here in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
I got introduced to the Zimbabwe International Film Festival first, and to also that was through Tafagwa Giovanna, was my friend's brother at that time. He had also started doing film with a short film project, and he knew a bit more. So I had what I was writing, like my script, and I took them there, and then I got in for the script writing workshop for the short film festival, and that in itself just then changed everything for me. So then I got to meet people, I got to find out what film was all about, what different genres, what different aspects of production were there, and it was a whole big world, And it's unfortunate that my mother could not be able to then pay for me to go to film school.
Okay.
But I think I was really, like I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it, and that drive in itself really just opened so many more doors for me. That right now, yeah, film school. Well, I yeah, I think I've gotten there. I've gotten there to actually have as much skill and as much talent as anyone else who did all this. So it's quite cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And it's inspiring, just from imagination, watching cartoons. Now you're a filmmaker. And let's talk about your body of work. How much work have you produced so far? Do you remember how many productions you've made?
I don't I don't remember because I'm churning out video after video after video. People get to see a bit of my work because a lot of it is for clients. I have a lot of clients within the development sector. So sometimes you see something and you actually want to know that there was a hand of like currently right now I edit. That's my day job. I'm an editor. And so you won't know that this film, but probably if you see all myself, you see it's really good work. It probably is me. But it's just a lot. Some of the highlights of my work, I produced Mukanya, that's 2013, 2014. I think that was the highlight because I went on to produce with my friends the profiling project, young farmer profiling project.
Yes.
Because there was argument that there were no young farmers in Zimbabwe. So we went out there and we profiled like 8 young farmers who were doing amazing things in their own right. And that became a really widespread content that people watched and for some of the farmers, actually, those videos actually opened so many more doors for them, those short documentaries, which for me is a great honor because I like my work to have a ripple. It shouldn't just benefit me. I mean, from when we did that, all we had was actually just pure money, and we went and did it and produced those videos and with the capacity I had. But the ripple effect it had on the young people, there was so much support for them and all the structures that have since been built for young farmers in Zimbabwe. I'm proud to say that, that there was a background that I was involved in that we went out there to document stories of young farmers who were doing something. That also opened doors for me with the Mandela Fellowship for Young African Leaders, because then I was given that fellowship as a young leader who was using film as a tool to engage young people on social pertinent issues, like food security and things like that. So when I went there, now I met amazing young people, and they were doing films. First thing that I told me, I would if I go there and I've got my just video camera, will I even be able to fit in? Will I what stories I tell with them? I'm a bit ashamed to even share the films I've done or the stories I've done with them. But I saw something amazing that what we had here was actually a bit more than what they had in terms of equipment, but they were going out there and making the films and telling the stories. The stories had so much impact. And I loved that because I saw that I belonged in a space whereby it didn't really have to be about aesthetics. Yes, aesthetics is good. Increasing in my quality is good, but it also had to be about the impact I'm making. So you would see that actually most of the content I make is not really for it's got social consciousness to it.
Yes.
Because I want people to engage. I want to inspire perception change in people. So that's where you see most of my work in this. I also co-produced and directed a film called Mukanya. That did really well. It opened. I toured festivals, Canada, Kenya, South Africa, Australia. It did really well, and it also put me on the radar, I guess, as a female design director. That people then could engage with on, because the other thing is that there are very few women who are on the front line when it comes to film. So when you see young women also taking up spaces, it really is good. I've done quite a lot of stuff. I also last year we also did film called here before the lockdown, Rufaro, and
Yes.
that was it really was a project on my heart because it's film in sign language, and I actually had to learn sign language just for that, so that I could be able to direct a film in sign language and to be able to work with my peers, because I also felt that they needed a voice more than just what sign language had to offer, so that the rest of the world would connect with them. So it's something that I'm really passionate about, and it's going to be released. I'm sure you all will see it. Um, so that is most welcome. And now I'm working also in a television project where I'm producing for Rumbi Katedza, called transactions on migration and remittances. Now, big scale, yeah, something with the big boys. That's also for European consumption. But
Yes.
we'll be able to also Pakistan, bring it back home in Zimbabwe. So there's a lot that I'm involved in. Also trying to enhance capacities of women musicians, whereby we also then make music videos for them, so that they also are visible. Because I feel that it cuts across a lot of women in the art sector, so we need to consciously engage and support each other. Say I'm a filmmaker, I make videos that will enhance your music, so that people then get to know more about you. So I'm already in talks with young women like Martha, who are also doing great, but we haven't seen much in terms of video content. Yeah, yeah.
This is
Yeah, so
quite impressive. It's you've made a very great impact, and your work speaks volumes. And what I find quite impressive there is that all the projects that you've mentioned, they've got a very strong social aspect to them. From gender-based violence to issues to do with disability, agriculture, and the empowerment of women. But from all that you have done, the travelings that you have made, there are not so many women that are in the creative space, like especially with filmmaking. And how has been your experience being one of the few women, not only women, but also a young person working in that sector?
I guess for me, I really would appreciate the strong community of women that have surrounded me to be the woman I am today. Because I will tell you one thing, it's not easy at all. That's why you find a lot of women falling out outside when they start out, when they start their one career in the art. They have that community of support. They fall out, along the way, somewhere along the line, and then they just, decide to go back home and be mothers and just sit and try something else. But with a strong community of support, you are able to do anything, you're able to scale high. I mean, I'm a mom, I've got kids, but already, with this kind of support I have, there's already arrangements and understanding that, I travel a lot, but there are so many mothers around that will then watch after my kids when I'm not there. That will also manage things for me. That will also, and there are also women within my sector that are making it, their personal mission to see me succeed as well. Because, we are really trying for that pull a sister up syndrome, like, not the other way around where, women want to pull each other down. But how do I also make sure that I'm opening, just like the ones before me, Rumbi Katedza, the Nakai Matemas, the Jerusalem, they opened doors for me. So how do I also then open doors for women that are coming after me? So it actually has to be something deliberate, because it's really hard for women. There's so much, the arts industry is packed with so much uncertainty, so much, we're already talking about how even things like the Me Too movement started in the arts fraternity. because there's also things like that, so much abuse, taking women being taken advantage of, that all you want. I mean, I've heard of some stories here in Zim whereby, we've got directors who then say, if you want a role in a film, you have to do TBS things like kiss me or sleep with me, and then I'll give you the role, which is really like, oh God, and that in itself then pushes me to want to do more for women so that they are also in safe, conducive environments where they can grow without being taken advantage of. I think my coming up also was because there was that safe net around me. I can't really, pat myself on the back to say, because I'm a strong one. No, no. That's not true. There has been that support of protectors, believers, helpers, push-uppers, a lot of those things, which have been really good for me. So because of that, I also try and support women that are after me, the younger women, but in spaces that I see that they're also comfortable in. The women are coming up with, there's actually our young people actually coming up with all forms of new media. How do we also engage them? If our young women are on TikTok and doing all these amazing videos, how do we also engage them so that they know that you can actually make a career out of this, you can actually make money, take care of yourself, invest and do all those things, so that you don't, the next guy who comes trying to take advantage of you, you just tell them, no, this is how much I'm worth, if you want to engage with me, then this is my daily rate, So it's also very important, yeah.
Great. And what are some of the major lessons that you have learned from taking part in different festivals, summits, and also traveling and interacting with other filmmakers from around the world? What would you say are some of the greatest lessons that have helped your work, but also could help improve film in Zimbabwe?
What I've seen is that we are not really far off. The thing is, when it comes is that we have not taken advantage of opportunities like workshopping our staff, workshopping our film, even from when it's a script, answering questions like, so who is going to be my audience in the very first place before you actually write something and churn it out. It's just a mixture of like the way in which things are done that we haven't quite grasped in Zimbabwe. But in terms of aesthetics, of content, of filming, we really do have a wide array of talent here. It's just us knowing what to do, what's needed, and how to access some of these platforms. Because, when you go out there and the moment you just tell people that I'm from Zimbabwe, oh my God, people start telling you, I know this one, I made this one, and these are like all amazing people who are doing amazing things on the front lines, amazing work. Some don't know, but the moment I go and Google them, I see, oh my God, this is actually Cheneso, and she's doing amazing beadwork. She's doing amazing necklaces and all that. But these are things that someone in Ghana will tell me of. That, oh, you need to look up this person because they're. So I really would say that Zimbabwe really has a presence, but it's just one or two things that we need to learn along the way, so that we are also as in the front lines when it comes to leading in spaces of film. Like right now, we on the continent we've got South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria who are leading, but I believe that Zimbabwe can be there too. That's what I've learned. I've also learned that we don't always have to complain about how bad things are back home, because believe it or not, we have it better than other countries out there. I know that sometimes, things may not be okay or things may not go the way we want them, but I've learned to just breathe and appreciate the blessings of the day and move on for tomorrow, because it's that energy that I have to protect so that I can be a creative. Because as creatives also, if you don't learn much about protecting the creative energy, it will really sap you, that then you die out, from being a creative. I know my opinion is not very popular in circles,
No,
but
but you know what? That's a quite very interesting perspective there because I think it's one of the tricks that I've been using for some time now. Besides that, I engage a lot, like I talk a lot, and I love to stay conversations. But there are steps that I made a year ago. I decided to get away from all WhatsApp groups because I wanted to protect my energy. And then I decided not to get myself into spaces where I would feel my energy sapped. And I feel that's very true. At times you need to protect that positive energy that you had and create sort of an insulation around you, or else you are poor, and you are poor as a creative and you're poor financially, and you're not able to create and make money.
Yeah, yeah. I also have learned the art of just I was actually virtually in attendance for the Durban Film Mart,
Yes.
which is
How was it?
where filmmakers, content buyers, solicitors, and everyone, the who's and the whys in the film industry convene. So in Africa, we convene at the Durban Film Mart. This year it was done virtually, and it was also my first time attending. I would say I was a bit disappointed because I found very few Zimbabweans there. Um, and I was hoping that, you know what, in as much as we're now talking about taking our art out there, we are not really then engaging in the spaces where we need to be, so that we learn from other people. How do we
Yes.
grow if we are not there in those spaces? I think I only saw 3 or 4 Zimbabweans there, and you could tell why then their work makes so much of a difference, even locally on the platform. Um, Versus our other counterparts who have not really gone far. Now I understand fully that some, yes, may actually just want Zimbabwe as their audience, as their platform where they churn their art out to. But
Yes.
to those of us that beyond borders, beyond regions, to join part of the global family, I strongly urge you, look for these platforms. There's so many, there's so many biennales, there's so many trainings that are happening. How do you even connect with people right now who want to engage on co-production deals with us, but we are not there. And you know how these things work, that you don't just, someone just doesn't come to you and say, I want to work with you on a film, can we engage? And they bring the money. It's built on relationships, it's built on networks. So if you're not there in those spaces, networking and building on those relationships, then you definitely will miss out. Yeah.
Do you think we are hungry enough? Because I also share the same sentiment. I mean, from music and other, artistic
You know,
disciplines.
for me, action speaks louder than words. You can tell me that you're going to give me the moon, you're going to,
But if you cannot prove it, nothing.
but if the action is not there, I don't believe you. Because there's amazingly some young Zimbabweans, who have, I'll talk about Shasha,
Yes.
obviously she was hungry to get something at the BETs, it just didn't happen. Things don't just happen. I'll talk about Ja Praiser. He doesn't just make a collaboration with the next big thing in Africa, or time they just don't end up on Coke, what's the platform, Coke Africa. You have to get yourself there. You have to have that hunger. I know so many talented young people that you thought, when they were coming up, oh my God, this is just amazing talent. But 10 years down the line, they're there, smoking weed by the corner, and you're like, dude, you are so talented. What happened? What happened? So you can't just be hungry by telling me that you're hungry without the action that follows after it. Because there's so many platforms that we can get on as young people. I'll tell you this, I probably am not the most talented young filmmaker,
Yes.
female out there. But because I've had a heart for opportunity, I get myself out there. I apply, my friends here actually call me a serial applicant, because that's what I do. And I know that out of the 10 things I've applied for, 9 will be no's, but 1 will be a yes. Okay. So that's how serious I am about getting myself out there. So this is what I really want to urge, young Zimbabweans, it's not gonna come to you. I see young people, posting how angry they are at the government, that it's not supporting enough the arts sector, and then the government has done this and the government hasn't done this. But I really want to put you there. What have you done? What
This is the
with
thing.
the format we were talking, the theme this year was Brave New Cinema. And I heard so much talk about how, as young people, or not as young people, but how we had to find ways of actually doing things differently so that we get ourselves there. The main road may have potholes, but there are Panama side roads that you can actually, use to get yourself there. In terms of equipment, we may never be able maybe to afford the Aries or the Reds of the day. But hey, you've got your phone, use it. Check out how the young people, YouTubers, are doing online. They're doing amazing things. TikTok, they've got presence. So I think we can also do that. Create our little stories, create a vibe around you. And soon people will know about you. Apply for all these things. There's video contests every day for young people. There's I send out all this information to young people, and unozomvunza, after a month or so. So did you eventually apply for that thing? No, it's because I was busy preparing for my exams for the university. Okay, fair and fine. No, it's because I didn't have bundles. Dude, you've got bundles to be posting and shouting at the government on Twitter, but you don't have bundles to actually do something that career better. I think it's misplaced priorities, really. Yeah.
This is quite interesting, Siza. I just have to add on something there because uh, I'm involved in so many projects, and uh, but I still remain very, very socially active. And at times I was talking to one youngster last week, and he was asking me, "Look, I see you on so many projects. Where do you get the time to?" Because I get the impression that you spend your day on Facebook, and I'm like, and I had to explain to them how all of these things fit from one to the other and how I manage my
Yeah.
time to be able to
Yeah.
create. And I was also in one conversation with the National Arts Council and the Minister of Arts and the Zimbabwe Youth Council, and we're discussing one creative from Bulawayo, and we're discussing young people in the creative arts. And I said exactly the same thing to say, look, whatever we're going to challenge the government, whatever we're going to challenge the next person for not doing, we should be able to say what is it that we're doing in our own space to make things better. So
Exactly.
if there's a lot of negativity, like I realized there was not so much space for new voices, young artists were not getting the space. And I've been complaining for so many years. And I said, but what exactly am I doing? Why don't I create the space and start writing these stories? So every day I
Yes.
write at least three stories, 4 stories online. I make 2, 3 interviews. And I'm like, there has to be a balance. Whilst we say
Yeah.
things are not well, things have to be done like this. But what is it that we're doing now in space to make things better?
Exactly. Yeah. And
This
it's a shame because I actually follow some of a lot of the stuff that you do, and I see that those are nuggets. So if young people really want to get themselves out there and follow some of the toolkits that you're sharing, then they definitely will succeed. But you can also, I mean, I saw a post on a musician that had gone out to actually register his trademark. And that challenged me. I was like, I'm a filmmaker here. Already my name is a trademark. But I always am into intellectual property, writing and doing things, but what have I done for myself? And uh, I went and I did it. I went and registered my IP, and I saw that, it's not even difficult because there's spaces for young people like us. But the moment that we don't take care of those nitty gritty little things, then someone will come and take advantage of the talent that we have and run away with all the money because we haven't protected ourselves. Yeah.
True. Before we close, there's an announcement. The government is making plans to roll out new licenses for new TV stations.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction to that? What do you see happening? New TV stations opening up. What does it mean for you as a filmmaker?
It means that not only for me as a filmmaker, but all the film and content producers, TV shows and the like, there's space for us. We've been crying for space for so long. We've been crying for access for so long. Tishiti, this person owns TV, that person owns TV. But right now,
Yes.
there's all that space for us. So it's up to us actually to get our ducks in a row, to get our content in order, to get requirements in order, find out, even if right now you don't have a story, okay, you need to have a story. You don't have, the right equipment yet or the resources yet, as in production money yet together, but find out what these people require for you to be able to get your work on their stations. Find out about commissioning, find out about everything you can, because also remember what we say is that there's no way that you can make a film without answering first what your distribution plan is. Who is going to see? Who is your audience? And if you're making for local market, you need to then start talking to these stations as they're coming up, so that they know you, they know about you and the work that you're doing. Find out if they also have arrangements. Challenge them that, okay, I may have an idea, but I may not be able to then find the resources to produce it in the manner in which you want. Are you up for co-productions? Are you up for commissioning? Because if you don't find those things out, then what difference is it making? We can't just celebrate that, yeah, they've been given a license, but when we're also taking really bad content to them, we also have to up our game and meet the requirements.
Wow, that's profound. It's been great. It's been awesome speaking to you, and thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time and sharing a lot of that important information. The film industry in South Africa, when you look at it, they've film guilds and they have associations that are working to protect the interest of the artists, as well as all the content producers, but also the consumers and stuff. In Zimbabwe, what would be your hope? What would you say to fellow filmmakers with regard to this?
All right, so there were efforts, I know, by Anthony Mtambira and a whole lot of other filmmakers, not just Siza and Rumbi Katedza, and so that we'd create a platform that would eventually then transform into a commission, because we need that. We get people who come and try and exploit us because we really don't know our rights, so we are not really protected. There's also platforms like the Women Filmmakers of Zimbabwe that young women can join. I pray that as with more engagement and with time, our ducks will be in a row, so that the guilds are, because it also even with countries like South Africa, they also have like film treaties with countries like Canada, Switzerland, that we in Zimbabwe don't have, but we are not far off, because hey, it's only 4 or 5 countries that have organized themselves like this. But we shouldn't then also find joy or comfort in that it's only 4 or 5 countries that have proper film commissions. It only means that we can also get there, and we should also just keep pressing, keep trying. Things will be okay. Things will work out. I know that our governments also would like to also make money, because film is big money. It's big money, especially when you get to commission a big film like Blood Diamonds in Zimbabwe, that locations only, it's a lot of money. So I know that there's talk, and I pray that everything works out well, so that we can be able to then proceed.
Wow. Thank you so much. This year we made our record entry on Netflix, and how did that make you feel before we close?
Kudos to Joel and Tom for that. It actually showed that it could be done. There's so right now, just with the shutdown, the lockdown, we saw a lot of people going to access things to watch online. Your Netflixes, your Hulus, your Amazons, your there's a lot more platforms. This is what I want young people to get. It's not only about Netflix. All those young people have just probably Netflix was the first one to actually realize the market they had in Africa, but all other platforms are coming, and they really would want to connect with Zimbabwe, with Zimbabwean stories. I mean, I've been on these platforms where I'm asking that, would you also want to commission Zimbabwean films? How does that work out? What do we need to do? And they are so interested. Right now, just today I was talking to the Swiss Film Board, Film Commission from Switzerland, and they're also talking about, so how do we then commission and things like that. So what Cook-Off did was that it showed us that it could be done. It was a simple film with a very small budget,
But they
sweet
did
film,
it.
God itself on that. And I also applaud Joe and Thomas, because what they did is that I saw them, getting their film to as many festivals as they could. They were not just sitting. Netflix didn't just happen. It's very hard to get into Netflix. Okay, it didn't just happen for them, but they went knocking on as many doors as they could, took their films to as many festivals as they could, because that's where the solicitors are. They buy, they talk to you, they meet you at these festivals, and then you can then they then engage you on putting your films or commission your content for other. So I want to just say to young people, it can be done. It really can be done, but you also need to get yourself out there so that you are known. Apply for as many opportunities as you can, and results you will yield. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nyabonga Kakulu. It's been great. It's been awesome speaking to you and sharing a lot of important information with regard to film. And I think this is an important conversation that a lot of young people would need to hear, especially those that are interested in film, theater, and related disciplines. How can people connect with you, those that would want to either get in touch with you or follow your work?
I'm on all social media platforms, but I think Facebook is for me. Twitter is a bit too fast for me,
Same as
but
me.
Facebook, I try and respond as much as I can. I really have a soft spot for young women who also want to. So sometimes, I get a lot of guys who want help with this or help with that. So sometimes, I can refer them to, okay, how about you work with this person,
Yes.
or because I also want to be able to make sure that the time I have in assisting, I dedicate it to young women. But we don't really have a lot. The young ones I've met, you'd see that along the way, maybe someone talked to them about film and how cool it is, or they've got a media degree from the university, Midland State University. But
Yes.
really, when you then give them an opportunity, they're like, their priorities are misplaced. You're like,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
They don't have the
you
same
know,
kind of drive.
yeah, they don't have the same drive. So it's also about changing perceptions of our young women, to show them that, you know what, you are just as good as your male counterparts. Things are not going to come to you easy. You have to be strong. You have to believe in what you want. You have to have loads of discipline. You have to be disciplined, because that will keep you and protect you. Yeah.
Wow, great. You have to be disciplined, very disciplined, and that will protect you. Imagine, keep imagining new things, creating new things. Until next time, stay tuned to A Ground. My name is Plot Mark. I've been speaking there to Siza Mukwedini, who's a filmmaker and a producer, and she's doing some amazing work. You need to check her out online. She's quite active on social media, on Facebook. So thank you so much, Siza.
Thank you very much.
Great. So stay tuned to Ear Ground as we bring you more exciting programs and we keep talking to different creatives and bring the story on to Ear Ground. Thank you.
Yes.
Cheers.